You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. It's Core Digest Tuesday as we bring you retrospect on certain security aspects of Nigeria in 2014. We'll conclude the Chibok girls' abduction as we move on to other issues on the show today with the other part of that meeting between the First Lady and other stakeholders in Borno State. At the time, it degenerated into a trade of words and blame between the federal government and the state government.
These states of demonstrations are elitist. Elite women are doing that. And they're saying, let the children go. Who are they talking to? The people that are holding them are not in Abuja. When they took these girls, there must have been a route. So, the route they took, the villages, the communities, they didn't notice anything strange. Your Excellency, at the border, if it is true that they left Nigeria, is it that our border is just open? People can cross and come in? And that is not true.
Because this disturbance of our development maybe is deliberate. Those who don't want maybe Nigeria or Africa to develop, that's another angle, diplomatic angle. But for the now, I think we do need this strategic team. Any dialogue team that must be representative, because when in Sudama, the first truce they had, the women had to go to the war front and they were calling their sons one by one. Abdul, come here. They will come up and they drop the gun. Sunday, come here. I am your mother, come here. Man, it takes really, plus the questions, plus the thinking, plus the strategies. And we have to be directly involved on the first table. It's possible for them to know, okay, mothers are asking questions. They are hurt. Believe me, their conscience will pick them along with our prayers. And we'll get the concise strategy of being listened to and to getting the solutions, ma'am.
Was there no adequate security when it was a known fact that girls were in that school writing exam? And I think these questions that we all been asking here should actually be directed to the principal of the school, the First Lady of the state, and the government of Borno State. I think they owe us an explanation. Because we are in Abuja, we are far away from Borno. If an issue is happening in Abuja, I think the first person we should be talking to should be the minister that is in charge of FCT. And so for me, if there's a way that will get the principal of the school, the WAEC man is there, he may not have as much information as the school principal. Those people on ground there should be able to tell us exactly. We are not doubting that girls were not abducted. Yes, they were abducted. That we have all agreed on. But the truth is that we don't know the number of those girls abducted. So even if we're looking for these girls, how many people are we actually looking for? It's very important.
I don't believe in the school of thought that will decide to go to the streets. Okay. We have shown our concerns. Our hearts are bleeding. People are saying it has been happening, not just about this so number of people that we are kidnapping in that school. That it's been happening. And if it has been happening, what did we do? Who did we report to? Because at least in my village, how many poles you see police station? And these are states where we have emergency room, which means at every point there are certain strategic points that you see military men, you see policemen, and all that. What it simply means is that if I have 100 policemen in the state that there are no emergency rules, in those areas you have like 300, for instance. And so, where is this school located? Does Chibok have a divisional police post? Were they left without security at all? And if they were left without security, what are the intentions? So, man, these issues are critical. We are women, we are strategizing, but the truth of the matter is that so many things and so many questions have to be answered.
As we are talking about what happened to these children and the way it happened, I want us to look to the other side. What are we doing to guide against anything of this sort? There was a loophole. The security on ground on that day wasn't enough.
That register, or how many other schools register in that same school?
So you can see the information is very hazy and very conflicting and extremely misleading. You see, we are trying to cause confusion in this country, and people doing this should think twice. Another version said that before this school was asked to reopen for these students to write these exams, that the Parents Teachers Association had a meeting and they pleaded with the state government to fortify security in this school. So where were the security men?
During the Metasine regime, we knew them by their dressing and where they lived and what they were agitating for. During the aggrieved people, I don't call them militants, aggrieved people from the Niger Delta area, they were agitating for resource control. Now these Boko Haram are faceless. Today we will hear that they are dialoguing with them, tomorrow the dialogue has failed. What is happening in this country? Are we sure we want to remain one? We must remain one.
Is to cause disaffection between the Nigerian people and their wonderful government. What they are trying to achieve is to instill fear in us, confusion, and for us to be gathering and cowering in corners. We are Nigerian women. We do not cower. We do not fear. But we gather and we come up with solutions. So let this be one of them. That together we stand in unity under your leadership. That we can do this, working in truth and sincerity.
The president of NUJ talked to our members. Why did they talk to our members? They talked to our members because some of our members have contributed to the democracy of Nigeria, while some are working for individuals or groups. And the president and some of us said, look, the first thing we must do as journalists is to make sure that there's peace and unity in our reporting of matters and issues.
We know this is the solution. Drive away the governor of Borno State. Put state of emergency. Yes. Let us fight for how to fight. It's an end of title that you have to. They give an husband for a message and shame. What are we talking?
Arising from the discussion,
will come along with the following. 1, the principal of the school. 2, the gate man of the school. 3, at least 2 teachers from the school. 4, 2 teachers conducting WAEC exams. 5, chairman and secretary of PTA of the school. 6, 2 matrons, that's the house parents. 7, 2 parents whose children are still missing so that we can ask them questions. And then the next one, 2 parents whose children had escaped. Next, 2 students that escaped, and we promised to mask them, that is to protect them, while we hear their voices. Then the principal should also come along with the school register so that we'll know the exact number of the students missing.
We want to see the truth so that by Sunday, our children are released. If by Sunday the children are not released, we will march to Borno. The governor will give us our children. The governor of Borno will give us our children. The Commission of Education Borno will give us our children because WAEC has told us the truth.
So the First Lady make through a threat to march to Borno. It's not only Sunday, it's over 200 days after Sunday, and nobody actually marched to Borno. So, and then beyond all of that too, many have criticized the emotional burst that followed in that video. But apart from all of the criticisms, the bottom line is that the First Lady's meeting for the first time brought to public glare are somewhat of revelations and what exactly transpired that day, bringing stakeholders together. And that day forward, looks as if the First Lady was a bit more quiet as regards these issues, because we're yet to hear from her as regards the Chibok girls, so to speak. Let's move away quickly from there to find out other issues. You'll recall that on May 14, some soldiers, angered by the death of 12 of their colleagues in a Boko Haram ambush, opened fire on the vehicle of the general officer commanding the GOC 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Ahmadu Mohammed, in Maiduguri. And such act is viewed in the military as mutiny. So, about 12 out of the 18 soldiers that were standing trial for attempted murder and mutiny in Memalari Cantonment, Maiduguri, were found guilty and sentenced to death by a military court sitting in Abuja. The names of the soldiers discharged, of course, were also mentioned, and some of them, one of them actually was sentenced to 28 days hard labor. Now, that, of course, no doubt has sparkled another level of debate, another intense public discussion as regards if truly the discovery of mutiny further certifies the claim that the Nigerian army has been faulting or has not been meeting up to expectation in the ongoing war against insurgency. Or the other side of the debate is if killing these people will motivate and further inspire members of the Nigerian army. Others are of the opinion that the moment you sign in to be a soldier, then you are signing it for death of life, death or life, so to speak. So it doesn't matter whether the conditions were favorable or not. But the other side too, is it true that at some points these soldiers did not have equipment or, you know, the firepower to engage the enemy on the battleground? Well, the fallout of all of this is that a human rights activist and a legal practitioner, Femi Falana, came up from the blues to talk as regards what should be done and injustice, so to speak, for these particular soldiers. Recently, about a few days ago, another 54 names were added to the list of those who will die, who will be sentenced to death as regards us, all of this. But let's hear Femi Falana out as regards his case for these people at this time.
Because the verdict is a genocidal act on the part of the military authorities, the court-martial did not consider any of the defenses put up by the soldiers. The facts were not properly evaluated, and therefore the judgment cannot stand. The boys were not engaged in mutiny. On July 9, that battalion had lost 3 officers and 23 soldiers, and 82 people were wounded. On that occasion, the military authorities assured the boys that they were no longer going to be engaged in the war without the provision of adequate weapons, because the Boko Haram sharps are by far more armed with sophisticated weapons. When on August 4, the soldiers were asked to move and recapture Damboa, Delwa, and Balubin, they made it clear to the authorities. Why are you sending us on a suicidal mission? You have said you will give us arms. Where are they? And of course, they didn't make them available. But notwithstanding that, by 18th and 19th of August, when weapons were made available, the same soldiers went for the operation and rescued those who had been captured. And the witness of the government, the military witness, the first witness, commended the boys for their gallantry. We were therefore surprised that they were in fact charged in the first place for mutiny. And I made it clear to the authorities, a demand for weapons in line with the provisions of Section 217 of the Constitution cannot be mutinous. Even though they are soldiers, right? As the members of the public are made to believe that they have signed to die. They didn't sign to die carelessly. They didn't sign to commit murder, to commit suicide. They signed to defend the country, armed with adequate weapons, and that was not made available to them. So for that reason, we are going to, first of all, appeal to the Chief of Army Staff, who is the confirming authority, not to endorse the judgment. But if he disagrees with us, we'll go to the Court of Appeal.
So if not death penalty, what verdicts are you hoping for?
No verdict, no. We're expecting that the boys were going to be discharged and acquitted because the evidence was totally overwhelming in their favor.
Okay, so it goes. As we speak right now, the issue of mutiny is rising by the day. From 27, we had 54 recently. Now there are about 100 names also coming out on the media as we get soldiers of the Nigerian army who have derailed in one way or the other. Another very important security story that broke in the course of the year was the Nigerian airline owned by a Nigerian pastor, I believe the president of CAN specifically, Pastor Ayo Oroshujafo, that was impounded in South Africa, caught with about $9.3 million on that particular plane. And then there are also issues as regards what these 2 or 3 men found on the plane were going to do with the money. There were issues of a possibility of getting arms and ammunition in the ongoing fight against insurgency in Nigeria. Of course, the federal government also had to respond to that. And one of the issues, the South African police actually investigating the 2 Nigerians and an Israeli citizen who tried to bring this money, about 1.5 billion naira in cash into the country, said on Monday that it might just have been a part of an arms deal for the Nigerian government. Of course, the passenger's luggage was searched after customs officials detected irregularities, and the money was detained as it was undisclosed, undeclared, and above the prescribed legal limit, according to the South African authority. Not far from there, there was another money on the plane, about $5 million. It goes on and on like that. That also brought to fore again how cooperative the United States has been. The federal government claimed that because of certain human rights violation reports by the Amnesty International, the U.S. have not been selling arms to Nigeria and they needed to get alternative. All of that also are issues that actually came to public glare in the course of the year as regards security and all of that. Of course, another very important story that we must touch before we go is that in 2003, so to speak, the Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau was said to have been killed by the Nigerian military. Of course, less than 2 weeks after, the military also says that it has killed the imposter Bashir Mohammed, who claims to be Abubakar Shekau. A new video was released by Boko Haram claiming that their leader was not shot by the Nigerian military. So that brought to fore finding out the difference in the shape of the head, the size of beards, and many other things, especially at this time when Nigerians needed to be sure whether we were winning the war or not. This video was released.
You have been going round saying,
bring back our girl
Bring back our army. Bring back our army. Jonathan! Gel, Christian, bring back our army. Refinery.
Okay, that was exactly how it went from one video to the other, and you're finding out what the truth really is behind the personality. Of course, when you examine that picture clearly, you begin to see, of course, that it looks as if the Sheikh is an imposter. There was one of those pictures that featured one or two people that looked quite alike in one of those abandoned new videos that were released by the insurgents. Of course, that also brought to fore many other issues as regards security and how much winning Nigeria is doing in this regards. Somewhere in the middle of all of this, we seem to have seen a silver lining in the dark clouds when the news of a ceasefire deal came to bear. You recall the story about the Australian negotiator who mentioned certain personalities as being sponsors of Boko Haram. But then the Chief of Defense Staff, Alex Bade, was caught on camera talking about a confirmed ceasefire deal. But it didn't go quite well, because after the announcement, there were several other incidents of bomb blasts in northern Nigeria. So the PDP Governors Forum chairman, Godswill Akpabio, governor of Akwa Ibom, came up to say that probably the media got him wrong. And that's where we're going to start from. The Akwa Ibom state governor, who actually said possibly Nigerian media got the Chief of Defense Staff wrongly as regards the ceasefire deal.
A high-level contact with the Republic of Chad was made, and that some persons who acted on behalf of Boko Haram and who claimed to have authority also had discussions with them, and then some Nigerian officials were with them. And then, of course, no agreement has been reached yet. It's just that the press may probably misunderstood what was reported. The discussions are ongoing. What came out from the National Security Advisor's briefing was the fact that the president will do everything possible to ensure the release of those young girls and to ensure the protection of lives and properties. And that will include dialogue where you can have the people to dialogue with, because you cannot dialogue with people who are faceless. And so we must do everything possible to ensure that on both sides the casualties are minimized and that peace returns to the country in the shortest possible time.
So the question is, what exactly did Alex Bade say? Did he say that the federal government was going to do everything possible to bring this situation to book? Or did he actually say that there was an ongoing negotiation? Let's find out in this report.
Members of your delegation. Look, you can please go. Okay. Mon cher ami du Cameroun, I once again want to thank you on behalf of Armed Forces of Nigeria. Je vais vous remercier au nom d'État-major du Nigeria for accepting to come over to Abuja to come and discuss this all important matter. Pour avoir accepté de venir à Abuja pour discuter cet sujet vraiment important. We are living here more determined than ever before to ensure that we face our challenges mutually. Nous allons quitter d'ici en sachant que nous avons la détermination de combattre ensemble. And I hope that in the nearest future you will invite us over to Cameroon. Maybe not come and discuss such matters because maybe we would have finished it, but come on maybe friendly visit.
Et j'ai l'espoir que vous allez nous inviter au Cameroun pour discuter, mais c'est pas discuter quelque chose comme ça, mais on va discuter dans une ambiance d'amitié.
So I'd like to thank you again for coming, and
Et je vais vous remercier.
We wish you safe journey back to Yaoundé.
Je vous souhaite bon voyage à Yaoundé.
But without any prejudice to the outcome of our 3 days interaction,
mais sans considérer ce qu'on avait déjà discuté dans 3 jours.
And the conclusion of this forum,
et en conclusion,
I wish to inform this audience,
je vais informer tout le monde
that a ceasefire agreement has been concluded between the federal government of Nigeria and Al-Sunnah Lidawa wal Jihad.
Qu'ils ont déjà signé un cessez-feu entre l'armée du Nigeria et je ne sais pas le nom, et le Boko Haram.
I have accordingly directed
et j'ai déjà instruit
the service chiefs to ensure immediate compliance with this development in the field.
Le chef de service de respecter ce qui est déjà signé.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay, so I'll leave you to decide from those 2 videos what transpired earlier this year, finding out the truth from what the sight and sound actually gave us. Well, moving away from that particular story, there was also questions as regards the next step to take to face the challenge of ill equipment, so to speak, on the part of the Nigerian military. A response to that from the federal government would be the proposed $1 billion loan. That, of course, was greeted with lots of speculations that much money in a pre-election year coming to buy equipment, buying warplanes and all of that. Of course, the position of the federal government was that this is the 21st century and there's no war. You fight war with technology, and Nigeria needed to fortify itself. Well, the good news for the presidency on that part was that the National Assembly was able to pass that bill and say that if that's all that you require, come on, it's about time to make it happen. There are also issues as regards whether to extend emergency rule in these 3 northeastern states. We have a caller now from Abuja. Good morning, Mohammed. Good to have you join us.
Morning.
Go ahead with the contribution, please.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I want us to pray very well so that all what I'm saying is a prayer to Nigerians. So let's pray very well for everything to come down. Because if you watch from the TV station, the way people are seeing outside the media and the media, if you see it and the way you put it now in the TV station, you will see there is a bit different. So this, I don't know how to call it, maybe I'll call it a confusion, but what I'm saying is, so we have to pray very well so that all this confusion to remove by 2015, so that pray for good and restore peace, especially in the Northeast. People are suffering, people are leaving their homes. If you see it, many areas now, if you go to the many states now, people they already live where they are living, and anything or to eat is a problem to them now. So some of them are running into another different things. So we need prayer, honestly, very well to this country, our Nigeria, because Nigeria belongs to all of us, and we don't have anywhere than Nigeria. So may God bless Nigeria, and may God bless all we the Nigerians. Thank you. Good morning. Thank
Amen
you for the TV
and amen,
station,
Mohammed. Thank you very much for calling from the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. Good to have you on the show today. Now, of course, we were talking about the $1 billion loan that was approved by the National Assembly. The much talk as regards what that money will be used for, accountability, ensuring that it's every cover of that money is being accounted for. Those are issues that also crept up in the year. There's no way we're going to talk about about security events in 2014 without making mention of the internally displaced persons far across the northern Nigeria. If we can get pictures of them on the screen, from Adamawa to Yobe to Kaduna, and then the NEMA recently put the figure to about 800,000, but unconfirmed report says there are actually millions of them. How do you account for those who are in neighboring countries? The quality of life being experienced at this time by these Nigerians are not it's not very encouraging at all, irrespective of the millions and billions that were raised in a particular fundraising effect for this particular purpose. I'm not even sure they got up to 21 billion. Was it billion naira or dollars now in that particular fundraising event? There are also questions as regards what's being done such that these people will be able to feel like Nigerians and not only have access to basic life amenities, but being able to return to their homes. We have Akeem calling. Good morning, Akeem. How are you today?
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. You know it's fine.
Go ahead with the contribution.
I just want all Nigerians to know that we should all fight together, stay together to fight Boko Haram. Hello, are you? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yes. You see, the issue of Boko Haram is not the issue that we should politicalize. Let everybody Nigerians know that Boko Haram is a problem that affects everybody in Nigeria. And we should stop using the people that are in politics, use politics to make it more so strong. We should try to let people know that this fight, these people that are dying, they are Nigerians, and the people that are in politics that are clamoring that it is the federal government that's supposed to fight this Boko Haram. Of course, it's federal government business to tackle any security problem in the country. But people that are the citizens of Nigeria too should be allowed fight along with the federal government, stop people that are criticizing the government, so that we can all move together to solve this problem. People are dying. We should not politicalize it. We should go straight. Thank you very much.
Good to have you join us today, Akeem. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now, talking about what needs to be done at such a time like this, being able to do what is right and bring all of these menace into extinction, there are also other suggestions as regards dialogue, negotiation that didn't seem to work. But of course, there are mortuary schools are kickstarting in northern Nigeria. There's need also to talk about the efforts of the federal government in reintegrating victims of this disaster back into the society, ensuring that young Nigerians in northern part of the country are also given the privilege to go to school. The Chibok experience isn't much of a positive impact on that effort, ensuring that schools, the Safe School initiative is also on, ensuring that Nigerian students do not only have access to education, but they are also having what is called security, and they can believe, they can have the assurance that we can go to school and return safely. Most of these things are also being done in northern Nigeria. Good morning, Samuel. Welcome to Call Digest.
The federal and our president about the security. We are the vigilante group of Nigeria. They should please, because pertaining about this Boko Haram, there is many of us that can do something about it. And I want the government to please to give us the order so that we can join the other security much. Because most of the places about security in Lagos, most of the police and other minors, they are agreeing us that who is vigilante, who chair the whole street vigilante in Nigeria. And there's many ways we can do also. In short, I don't like to put it, so I'm begging our president and the whole Nigeria to please give vigilante group of Nigeria a chance and see our performance to join with other security. Pertaining the army, they are very low. But But the police, they just embarrass us and other things so that we can make Nigerians forward, and they should not do it according to other parties. This is PDP, they should face their problem. We are the Nigeria that's having this security problem. So we get to join hands together and solve it. That's all I can say, sir. Thanks, sir.
For your contribution. Good to hear from you. There are also very important incidents that took place in the course of the year. Incessant prison break, so to speak. It happened in Kogi, where the National Police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu said that unidentified gunmen blew up the prison with explosives, allowing scores to escape. It happened also in Mina, with 108 inmates escaping from that area. Many of these breaks were also in one way or the other linked to the insurgent group Boko Haram. But how do we describe what happened in Ekiti in the later part of this year, where gunmen invaded Ekiti, abducted 6 people, and then you hear also of gunshots in that particular prison break where hundreds of people actually escaped from the prison in Ado Ekiti. And then you also hear of issues as regards what was the role of the prison officers in all of these incidents, and of course the role of the community in not just allowing this, so to speak, but in reintegrating all of these people back into the society. At that point in time, there were clarion call for the Ekiti people to ensure that these people are not just allowed back into the society, especially when such prison break was happening at a festive period. So all of this amounted to what we call our security report for the year 2014. Still much work needs to be done in ensuring that corporates of this nature are brought to book. Much needs to be done in ensuring that our borders are safeguarded. Much needs to be done in integrating Nigeria, and of course in making the people understand that this challenge is not only a federal government challenge, it is a challenge for you and I. It is, we are fighting a common enemy, and we've also had callers today reiterating that position, that it is important for Nigerians to unite beyond across political and religious borders to make this happen. We're just going to take a few more calls before we go on the show today. Good morning, Lukman. How are you today?
Yeah, good morning, sir. Hello, yeah. Yeah, you know...
Lukman, are you there?
What we are facing in this country, as far as my own is concerned, you know, we have to take the federal government for the issue affecting... Hello? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Hello? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so there is no how we can influence federal government, because they are the number one citizen of this country, and they started the responsibility of every affair of our nation. So we have to blame them, because there's no how they can tell that they don't know where our problem is coming from. So they have to help us tackle it, so that Nigerians, you know, can live, you know, and have rest of mind. Thank you, and bye-bye.
I can hear from you, Lukman. Thank you very much for calling. And as we begin to wrap up now, it's important to also touch on these details that there are certain genuine Nigerians, young Nigerians, day by day, who are being recruited into the Nigerian army, unlike folks like us who come to work not in ties, you know, and speaking Queen's English, you know, forming English and all of that. These people actually are carrying arms and carrying guns and going to Sambisa forest and sacrificing at some times even their lives for the unity and peace, the relative peace that we enjoy this time in Nigeria. It is important that the Nigerian people look beyond one of the few lapses to also motivate and inspire those young Nigerians to go on, to ensure that we have a united Nigeria, so that they are inspired and they are being celebrated. Of course, another laudable effort of the Nigerian Army is ensuring that children of those who have paid the ultimate price in their service to the fatherland are ensured quality and free education, and then their needs are being met, their family members are taken good care of. The unknown soldier, I believe, should be celebrated in this part of the world, if indeed we're going to win the war against terrorism in Nigeria. It is also important that we are optimistic in our opinions, in our submissions, in our analysis of the way things are. At times you hear Nigerians, they tell you, that's not possible. They tell you there is no way out. And I begin to wonder if we're actually talking about our own death sentence, because if the Nigeria of today is not peaceful, it's not just a geographic entity that we're talking about. We're talking about the peace and the prosperity of you and I. There is no way there will be a war in this country and I'll be here presenting this show. It means I'm going to be hiding somewhere, and just as you. So it might be happening in far northern Nigeria, but then we need to be united as one common people of the same origin, the same language, of one spirit called love. Thank you for watching the show today. I am Nifemi Oguntoye on behalf of my producer, Emmanuel Ajayi. Of course, Bright is also working with us at the Master Control Unit. Thank you very much, guys, for your contribution. All of our Twitter followers, we celebrate your contribution. Let me just say, if I can quickly take one of the tweets this morning. Don't forget, you can also follow us at Core Digest Live, where you get to see all of the happenings on this show, and you'll be able also to contribute if you really would love to do so on any of our topics of contribution on the show. I've been challenges with the network this hour, but we'll be back tomorrow, God willing, and we'll continue in our review of events that shaped 2014 in Nigeria. Stick around for the top of the hour news. Don't go away.